30 years of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee, featuring Tennessee Radio Hall of Famer George Plaster, Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame coach Watson Brown, and Young Guns Billy Derrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome in. It's a beautiful Monday. I wish it was about 10 degrees warmer. It'd be a great day to skip out of here and go play golf. But nonetheless, we have a good show for you from the beautiful Ford Ice Center in Bellevue, which on Thursday will play host to our first Sports Speaker Series day. Barry Trotz, the incoming general manager of the Predators, will be our first guest. You may have seen earlier the whole little picture of who's coming on the show, and it did say Pete Rose. And indeed, that interview will run today at 2:18. I'll go ahead and tell you this funny story. Friday, he calls me right in the middle of the show. And so we're about to go. Well, we had just gone to a commercial break now that I think about it. And this voice on the other end, I couldn't tell who it was. And I said, "Who is this?" And he said, "Baseball's all-time hit king." Oh, okay. I think I know who it is. Let's check in. Let's check in with Kelly Holcomb, who's standing by from Murfreesboro. Kelly, how are you?
I'm doing well, George. It wouldn't be a great day to play golf either. I'm looking outside and it's like 30-mile-per-hour winds.
Yeah. Although in my case,
it's never a good day.
Well, it would not really affect the worm burner. It would affect your drive a lot.
It would affect my drive, yes.
Yeah. Probably not mine as much.
No, probably not.
Yeah.
You probably don't ever need to play golf again, but I mean, I know you enjoy it. I know you like going out there.
You know what's bad about that is the day you and I played, I was fairly respectable.
Yeah, I don't even remember that. You were
I do.
You were so insignificant that day. I don't even remember it, George.
Thank you. It's certainly good to have you as a friend. Wow. Billy.
Yes.
Let's just gang up on him one day and basically throw it right back at him. What do you think?
I'm fine with that, George.
Uh-huh. When would you like to start that process?
Whenever you want to. You're the head honcho here. I'm
Really?
following your orders. So
okay.
All I know is this: if y'all do that, just understand that I grew up in a locker room and I can get down and dirty now.
Can you?
Because Kelly, God knows if I make the plans, we're not doing that. George is making the plans here.
By the way, he gets all upset if I'm not right in the middle of the picture. So watch this. Oh, wait a minute. So I'd have to go.
You would think after all these
way.
shows, George would be used to, okay, I need to be symmetrical here.
Do you think anybody really gives a damn if I'm in the middle of the picture or even in the picture at all?
People with OCD. I mean, look at Kelly. He's nice and he's been symmetrical.
I have trouble with that though sometimes too, Billy. Like I move the wrong way. I forget where I'm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's understandable.
Here's how most people would like it to be.
It's true.
If we're being honest.
100% true, George.
We had a little issue there. The earbuds came out as well. So not my best moment. Do we have an update?
We do, George. We're starting
magnitude
in the NFL. A lot of money.
Well, hold on a second. Do we not tell people about the poll?
Oh yeah, we put
listen to this.
Speaking of Pete Rose, we put a poll out on Twitter, and let me refresh here. We have a total of 13 votes so far. Put it out about 30 minutes ago.
Yeah.
But the question is, does Pete Rose deserve to be in the Hall of Fame, the Baseball Hall of Fame? 69% say no, 30% say yes. So we'll keep track of that.
What do you say?
I say no.
He should not be.
No.
Okay, David, do you have a vote in this?
I would say no as well.
Really? Wow.
What about you, George?
You can rape and murder and get out quicker than he's getting out. I mean, that's 34 years, for God's sakes.
Yeah, but
34 years.
How long was he betting in the game of baseball?
I don't know. I mean, let's say it was a year. What difference does it make?
Well, I think if it's 15 years, that makes quite a big difference.
Well, I'm not aware that they have that kind of evidence that it was that long. But I mean, good Lord. I mean,
I'm kind of with you, George. I mean, people
bond together.
Like the young kids nowadays don't even know who, like, they don't even remember who Pete Rose is.
Right. But
like,
they're gonna know.
And they they always say that time cures everything. And obviously not this. I mean, it's just I don't know, one of the greatest baseball players ever to play the game. I watched him. I remember growing up watching Charlie Hustle, man. He was just such a great player with that, with the Cincinnati Reds and that red machine. And it was just, it was amazing to watch. And I'm kind of with you. I mean, the guy was one of the greatest ever. Let's move on.
Okay. What is the update?
Well, I was going to say money, a lot of money involved in today's update. Jalen Hurts has agreed to terms on a 5-year, $255 million extension with the Eagles. Wow. His contract in total value ranks third, and he is now the highest paid player in NFL history in terms of average per year. He's ahead of Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray, Watson, Mahomes, Allen. He's at the top of that list, average per year.
Mama, let your babies grow up to be quarterbacks.
It's amazing. I think he gets 179 million guaranteed. So,
good Lord.
He's I've been critical of him at times because when I watched him play at Alabama. But you know what? I know the guy works hard. He's a good kid. He's obviously a great kid. And they say that Nick Saban still loves him. I think he still goes back to Alabama and works out down there with those guys. So, it's just an unfortunate thing that he got into with Tua there, but you can tell that the guy's worked really hard to understand his weaknesses, understand his, he's got to stay in the pocket and throw the ball. At some point, you got to learn how to play the game, and he's obviously done that. And he's gotten really good at throwing the football, which, at Alabama, he could throw the football, but it always used to irritate me when he would get a little bit of pressure and he would roll out to his right, and then everything would just, it's one of those deals. But hey, he's worked, and hey, good for him. He's got to stay in the pocket and throw the ball. At some point, you got to learn how to play the game, and he's obviously done that. And okay,
my bad. We had a little audio playback there. That's my bad.
What is audio playback?
Well, I logged on my phone and I had forgotten I had to turn down the phone audio. So.
Sounds like pilot error, Kelly.
It's insane. That has not happened since the beginning. And today it happens.
Hey, but leave it to Billy for it to happen.
How confused were y'all?
I wasn't.
I paid no attention.
I was confused because he had just said the same thing, but his lips weren't moving.
Well, I wasn't confused. I just figured it was a Billy error.
Pilot error.
Blame it on Billy.
Kelly, I'm going to add on to what you said. He is worth every penny of that contract, what he did last year, leading that team to the Super Bowl. And another thought is just imagine what Joe Burrow and Justin Herbert are thinking right now. That bag is going to eventually come to them as well.
That's what they're thinking right there.
Well, then you got to look back at what the Cleveland Browns did with Deshaun Watson. They've got the whole, I can remember my agent talking about the market, and they've got the whole market messed up with what they paid Deshaun Watson. You pay a guy that has got all these legal troubles, and he's a great athlete. I mean, that's understandable. I mean, he won a bunch of games at Clemson, but you come in there and he hadn't played for 2 years, and then you give him all that kind of money. I mean, that's just – it's –
Did we lose him there?
Oh, we're good.
There we go. He's back.
Speaking of pilot error, did you do something?
I mean, every time you hit something in here, it goes like the, it's just crazy. I don't know.
Next item,
NBA playoffs roll along. Had 4 games Saturday. The Sixers beat the Nets. Joel Embiid, 26 points in that one. Celtics over the Hawks. Jaylen Brown had 29. Knicks over the Cavs. Jalen Brunson continues to play well, 27. And the Kings in Sacramento, they lit the beam after the game over the Warriors. Unbelievable atmosphere there. I mean, that's one of the best atmospheres I've ever seen in an NBA game.
That is an Oklahoma City kind of deal, and the Preds at one point had that as well.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to attain because, you wait so long as a city and that year comes and you really can't recreate it.
No, it's hard.
That's what it feels like in Sacramento. You're right with the Preds, George. Speaking of the state of Tennessee, the Grizzlies lost to the Lakers yesterday, 128-112. Rui Hachimura for the Lakers, 29 points. First Lakers since Magic in 1996 to have 25 points off the bench in a playoff game. John Morant is hurt, and he's doubtful for the next game. So not good for Memphis.
If they go down 0-2, they're not winning this series.
No, because you lose your 2 home games you got.
You're screwed.
But if you got 4 guys on the LA Lakers scoring in the 20s, I mean, that was the first time since they did that since the worthy Magic era back in the day. I mean, if you got those guys dispersing the ball like that and making shots like they were, they may win the championship.
Oh, look, they're no 7 seed anymore.
No.
Now, through their regular season work, they are a 7. And that 7 guarantees they're never going to have home court to start a series. That's going to be the hard part. The good part is they've created a level of doubt in the Grizzlies where the Grizzlies are going, oh, crap, what do we do now? Well, the truth of it is they've played a lot of games without Ja for various reasons. And, their coaching staff needs to walk in and say, look, if we don't have him, yes, it's a loss. No, there's no need to panic because we have been here before and we have done well without him.
Yeah, they won a bunch of games without him because he missed some games, with his situation that was going on. But they're playing a different Lakers team than earlier in the year. They started out 2-10 and had a 3% chance to make the playoffs, and now they've added. You got to give Coach Ham and the front office a lot of credit for getting some guys in that can play. I mean, they brought in role players, and then you get the Austin Reeves kid who, I mean, he was filling it up. I mean, Hachimura was filling it up, but he was too. He just took over the game. And that's got to be something. I know that LeBron is the star. LeBron and Anthony Davis are the stars on that team. But, when you have role players like that and LeBron can go sit on the – he can go sit on the bench, or Anthony Davis can sit on the bench, and they're not losing much. I mean, they still got guys out there that can shoot the ball and score. I mean, I don't know if LeBron's ever had that like that. I mean, he was kind of Austin Reeves was coming up. He played point guard in college. He kind of just took over that fourth quarter and scored. I think he scored 12 points or maybe more than that in the fourth quarter. So that's a different Lakers team, and they're going to be lucky. Memphis, like you said, if they lose one more, it's over.
Charles Barkley mentioned on TNT last night that the Lakers actually got a favorable path and draw in this Western Conference.
I heard the argument. It's insane.
Because if they win this one, they go on to play the winner of Golden State and Sacramento in the semis, where the Lakers might be the favorite in that, even though they're the lower seed.
Right.
If they're playing the Kings, they have the experience edge, LeBron against that young group, which would be exciting. I think we're also
be a great TV ratings thing. But what he said is hogwash. I'm with Ernie Johnson. The idea that they wanted to get in the play-in game so they could get the easier route, I'm not buying.
No.
Well, and the
It's one of the few
embrace that.
times I disagree with Barkley.
And the Clippers embraced that. They played their starters that last game. They seemed like they wanted that matchup with the Suns, and Billy's going to get to it, but it worked out for him last night.
Clippers rammed it up Phoenix's butt.
George, real quick, one more thing on Memphis, though. After the game, Desmond Bain said Rui Hachimura had the best game of his career. Let's see if he can do it again. This team, they don't ever stop talking, even after a loss. So that has probably hurt him a little bit too. You're giving the other team some motivation.
Go win.
That's right.
Win, baby.
Just shut up and win.
Yeah, absolutely.
David mentioned the Suns, but the Heat also beat the Bucks 130-117. Jimmy Butler, nice game, 35 points. But Tyler Hero suffered a broken right hand.
A lot of injuries.
Yeah, Giannis.
Around the NBA, yeah.
Giannis, lower back strain. So it's ridiculous.
If he's not able to play for a while, suddenly this series gets hairy.
It really
John
does.
Morant.
Yeah, it really does. And I was thinking, we talked about the Miami Heat last week, how they looked like they didn't want to make the playoffs with the game that they played in that play-in game, their first play-in game, and then they come back and beat arguably the best team in the NBA. Now I know that Giannis is hurt, but with his back, but if he's out, you're absolutely right. It makes things crazy in these playoffs.
This is some time where a little luck comes in.
Yep.
An injury suddenly turns a playoff series totally around. Billy, what else?
Clippers over the Suns, 115-110. Kawhi Leonard is back to the old Kawhi Leonard that we're used to seeing, 38 points. But another injury, Paul George is likely to miss the entire series with a right knee sprain. So, I mean, you're seeing stars out everywhere. The Nuggets over the T-Wolves, 109-80. Jokic had a nice game for them. Tonight, you got the Nets and the 76ers game 2, and then the Warriors and Kings. That's the game I'm looking forward to see if Sacramento can do it again.
By the way, Paul George is overrated.
You think so?
We want to have Paul George. Well, you know what? You got the guy that matters, Kawhi Leonard.
Mm-hmm.
Give me Kawhi Leonard. Paul George.
The silent assassin in Kawhi Leonard, man. He never says a word, and he just kills you.
And Russell Westbrook didn't play well. He shot 3 for 19, but he had a huge shot late. And that really, I mean, you could argue won the game for them.
Who else would, at 3 for 18, take the 19th shot other than Russell Westbrook?
Russell Westbrook. And then he gets into it with a fan going into halftime.
Yeah.
But some of the plays that he made at the end of that game on defense, I mean, that won the game for him. It was amazing.
NHL tonight, Islanders at Carolina, Florida at Boston, Minnesota at Dallas, and LA Kings at Edmonton. So got 4 NHL games tonight, 2 in the NBA. And then one more quick Braves note, Max Fried will return from the IL today and start against San Diego.
Hell yeah.
Chop on.
Oh, yeah.
Snitker confirmed it, and the Braves are trying to keep it going after their win over KC.
They've won, 6 in a row? They've beat up on the teams they need to beat up on. We don't need to play San Diego for a while, though.
Well, you've got them tonight.
I know. Okay, after the break, you will hear from baseball's all-time hit king. I'll sort of set it up and let you know why it looks a little goofy and why we had some technical stuff we had to work through to get it done. But as we go to the break, let's talk to you about the folks at Action 24/7 Sports. So right now, the playoffs are going on, and the question is, are you betting on them? Well, you should be. And if you are, you need to go with the folks with Action 24/7. They are a local group that has local people. In fact, they are Tennessee's only locally owned and operated sports book. If you have questions, these are good folks. They'll return your phone call. They'll get back with you. They will act like your neighbors because, in fact, they are. Download the app or visit action247.com to start all that winning. And please bet responsibly.
How am I going to get to work? My car's totaled.
Skylar, our team is making a call right now. We'll get you a rental car. Don't worry.
That's a relief.
Call us 24/7. We're here. We're going to help.
Year number 2 of the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night was awesome. And the reason is really simple. I chose Strike and Spare, and they were amazing. They have great food, great bowling, and a staff that is truly ready to go the extra mile to help you. They have 5 family fun centers in the area to choose from. And for more info, go to strikeandspare.com or call them at 615-824-5685. Now that the weather has gotten considerably warmer, there's not a better place to spend a morning or an afternoon than Riverside Golf Links. So you've probably noticed the weather has gotten a lot warmer, and that means a couple of things in Nashville. It means baseball, and it really means golf. And for me, it's a visit to Riverside Golf Links. The course has improved dramatically. There are now 27 holes, including a 9-hole executive course. If you want tee times or more information, dial them up at 615-847-5074.
You can't see the sights without the sounds. From the crack of the bat
to the roar of the crowd and everything in between. Discover what Hit City has to offer. Spend your nights cheering on the Nashville Sounds at First Horizon Park with giveaways, fireworks shows, theme weekends, and more. Single game tickets are on sale now. Visit NashvilleSounds.com to claim your seat today.
So they caught me there a little earlier than I expected. Now, here's the deal. We, on Friday, interviewed baseball's all-time hit king, Pete Rose. You'll notice that the first 2 or 3 questions, you'll see Pete, although it's not great video. He was in a car, and it was difficult for him to hear.
The first 2.5 minutes are on video with him.
Yeah.
But then the last whole part of the interview is by phone. So,
okay, here we go with Pete Rose. In a million years, you could probably never guess where I'm going with the first question, but here goes. I'm probably the biggest Atlanta Braves fan you've ever dealt with. And when I was a freshman in college and working at a campus radio station, I was able to pull a piece of wire copy from Milt Richmond from UPI, who reported in that piece of wire copy that Pete Rose was signing as a free agent with the Atlanta Braves. All these years later, I still want to know what happened. Why didn't you sign there?
Well, first of all, Mr. Turner was a nice guy. Matter of fact, when I flew to Atlanta to meet with him, he picked myself and my lawyer up at the airport. He had an old Toyota, and he did offer me $1 million a year for 4 years. But what happened there is I just didn't think that I could turn that team around at that time. And at that stage of my career, I wanted to go to a winning team, a team that had really good players on it. And in those days, the Atlanta Braves weren't that team. I liked Mr. Turner. He was very nice. But you got to go where you're going to be happy. And at that stage of my career, I had to go where I thought I had a chance to go in the World Series. And I ended up doing that. It just took an extra year when I went to Philadelphia in '79 because we won the World Series in 1980.
Pete, I've always believed that all these years later, that Big Red Machine group in the mid-'70s is the best baseball team I have ever seen. And we'll get into sort of the everyday lineup in a minute. But how much of that was Sparky Anderson?
Well, first of all, the Big Red Machine had white stars, black stars, and Latino stars, and a Hall of Fame manager. And by the way, when we're talking about Sparky, he was like a dad to me. Most street smart guy I've ever met. And everybody in those days that managed knew baseball, but Sparky knew more about his players than most managers in those days. And that's all managing is knowing your players and trying to figure them out, and asking them to do this or asking them to do that. It's all about situations. And Sparky was just street smart. He was really street smart, not book smart. He was street smart. And Sparky probably understood people more than anybody I've been around. And that's why he was so successful.
Was there one player in the everyday lineup of the Big Red Machine that you could not afford to lose, even with that assemblage of talent?
Well, we had players on the Big Red Machine that were you couldn't replace them. The greatest catcher ever, Johnny Bench. The greatest second baseman ever, Joe Morgan. the only Cuban ever to make the Hall of Fame, Tony Perez. Then you had guys, second line guys like Foster, Geronimo, Griffey, people like that. But Joe Morgan was the smartest player I ever played with. And when you got that kind of talent and they're all playing together, which Sparky made sure that we did, hey, you're going to win a lot of games. And we won more games in the 70s than anybody. We went to the World Series in 70, 72, playoffs in 73, World Series in 75, World Series in 76. So there was a reason why we did that. That's because we were well positioned at every position.
Pete, in my lifetime, I think one of the greatest baseball achievements I've ever seen was your 44-game hitting streak. Harder than DiMaggio's for a series of reasons. Talk to me about some memories you have of that streak.
Well, I had one time in Philadelphia when I was 0 for 3 or 0 for 4, and we needed to get me another at bat, and the team batted around, and I got another at bat in the top of the ninth, and I dropped a bunt down to extend the hitting streak. But that was a lot of fun for me because I was doing what I was paid to do, get base hits, and I just had to do it 44 games in a row. I know one guy that enjoyed it, and that was Ted Turner, because when I went to Atlanta and played 3 games, he sold out 3 straight games. And then on the 4th game, the hitting streak ended at 44 games in a row. But other than that one game, I didn't ever come close to ending the hitting streak during the course of the game. And it was fun. It was fun because, once you got over 30, 32, 33, 34, something like that, then the national press started traveling with you. And I used to meet with the press before every game and after every game. We had a public relations director named Jim Ferguson, and he really kept the writers away from the other players as far as being in the clubhouse. He made it real easy for me.
Pete, in your book that I have read, My Prison Without Bars, you talk about a trip you took overseas with Joe DiMaggio. Did he ever talk to you about that?
Oh, we exchanged about 56 in a row and 44 in a row. And by the way, when I went to Vietnam with him in '67, he was a delight. I mean, he was the best. I mean, he was so good with those soldiers over in Vietnam. I'll never forget how he treated them. He almost bowed down to those guys when we walk into a room and you have a colonel or a general or a staff sergeant or a private. He treated them all the same with so much respect. It was unbelievable to be part of that.
Pete, now I'm going to ask you all the stuff that you get in any of these interviews that you end up doing. So there's nothing very original on my end. But in '89, I had become a sports talk show host in Nashville, and I used to make the joke that if I wanted to show up having played golf, that all I needed to do was open the phones and say, okay, how should baseball handle Pete Rose? What I want to know is this. If Bart Giamatti had lived, do you think you would still be permanently ineligible?
No. I think he suspended me for a year, and I could go back and talk to him. And then 4 days after he suspended me, he died of a heart attack. Believe it or not, I got along with Bart. When he used to come on the road occasionally, he would have me come up to his room and just talk about things that would make the game of baseball better. Because at that time, I was the top player in the game, and he always wanted advice as far as the game of baseball and running the game of baseball. And he was a fair man, so I think he probably would have given me a second chance.
Have you given up on the idea that in your lifetime you will get in the Hall?
It's close because I've been suspended since 1989. That's a long time. So, but you always keep your fingers crossed, and you always think there will come a day when baseball will give you a second opportunity. This is a country where you get second opportunities, I just haven't been able to come up with one with the world of baseball. I still, till this day, go around the country selling the game of baseball. I do not badmouth the game of baseball. I don't badmouth the players playing the game of baseball today. I'm always very positive when I'm talking about the game of baseball.
Have you ever met with Rob Manfred?
Yeah, I met with him one time. He was a nice guy. He's got. Let me tell you something. These commissioners of these sports got a tough job because of guys like me. We make their job tougher. But Manfred's he's an honest guy. I think he believes in the world we live in. I think he believes in second chances. It's just we're in a situation where I think he thinks he would be not agreeing with Bart Giamatti if he reinstated me. One of those, I'll carry on Bart Giamatti's legacy.
Did he essentially say that to you?
No, he didn't say anything to me. He was very positive with me. When I left the office, I thought I was going to get reinstated. But somewhere along the line, he changed his mind. It's out of my control.
Let me try it.
That don't mean I got to be bitter. I'm the one that screwed up. I'm the one that messed up. But like everybody else that messes up in this country, a lot of times you get a second chance. I won't need a third chance. But I'm running out of time. Today's my birthday. I'm 82 years old.
Happy birthday. Wow. 82. That's starting to make me feel old. So in that whole process, once they know that there's certain things that have been going on, what's your biggest regret that if you could do one thing over once you knew they had the goods, what would you do differently?
Oh, I did. I did just come clean. I never did think they had the goods. It's just like today on the Major League Baseball Network. You can bet on the games. During the games, they update in the 6th inning, the 8th inning. Everywhere you turn on the TV today, they're talking about betting on baseball. And that's what I did. I was just before my time, so to speak. But there again, I can't get around it. I'm the one that messed up, and I'm the one paying the consequences.
So
I'd have been better off if I took steroids. I'd been better off if I was an alcoholic. I'd have got a second chance. But gambling, I understand that. I knew what happened in 1919. I had nothing to do with that. Joe Jackson took money to throw World Series games. I bet on my own team to win, not to lose, to win every night. That's how much faith I had in my players.
So from here on in, is there virtually no strategy on your end? And I guess what I'm asking is, if that's the case, what would have to happen for you to get in?
Commissioner Manfred would have to lift the ban. Then that's the thing about me. There's been a lot of guys suspended, but they always been able to get on the ballot. I've never been on the ballot for the Hall of Fame. And I do believe because of the way baseball is kind of in bed with gambling today, that most all the guys who disagree with me getting a second chance would probably reverse their decision on me. Because they see the same thing I see. And it's all about dollars. It's all about money. That's why baseball is in bed with gambling.
Pete, let me go at it this way, because you're right. There's a hypocritical side of this. When you met with Manfred, did you bring that up?
You know what? I don't even remember. That was just a very cordial meeting on my part, and I appreciated the meeting on his part. And I don't know what I said that led him the wrong way, but evidently I said something. So, you know, I did it. I was there. I can answer all the questions about it. I didn't hurt you. I didn't hurt anybody else. I wanted my team to win every night. And I took a last place team that finished second 4 years in a row, starting in 1985.
Pete, here's the last thing I'm going to ask you. You've been in Nashville now. I know you've been here before. Do you think this is a city capable of being a Major League Baseball city?
Nashville?
Yes.
Yeah, because they support hockey. They certainly support their football teams around here, the college teams. You know, Larry Schmittou used to own the team, the Nashville Sounds, and they were our AAA team. And we used to play here once a year on our way up from spring training. We would play the Nashville Sounds. You know, I think it's a better opportunity here in Nashville than it would be in Montreal. I don't think it's going to work in Vegas unless you get a new stadium because it's too damn hot in the summertime. Plus, the only stadium they got there for baseball is, hell, they do that in Oakland. You can't survive in the Major League Baseball world with 10, 12,000 people a game, 81 times. Now, if you're going to be competitive, you got to spend the dollars. These guys are making a lot of money. $300-400 million now these guys are signing for. God bless them. You know, I remember in 1979, I became the highest paid player in sports, making $810,000 a year. Because at that time, there was a basketball player named David Thompson from North Carolina State that played for the Denver Nuggets. And at that time, he made $800,000. But in 78, I got my 3,000th hit, and I hit 44 straight games. And I told the guy at the Phillies I wouldn't be the highest paid player in sports. And he gave me $810,000. He must have been bad at math because he could have gave me $801,000.
Okay, there is a little bit of what we did on Friday after the show with Pete Rose. Kelly, I do believe a couple of things. Number one, for me, it has been long enough. 34 years, you know, that's a real sentence. And secondly, baseball can be very hypocritical. You see all this DraftKings and FanDuel and all the different betting deals. And if you really are serious about it, then don't let the teams take the money.
You kind of heard him say he was at the wrong time. He did that stuff it was the wrong era. So I'm with you. I think it's, you know, you just listen to him and he's 82 years old. He still has passion for the game. He still loves the game of basketball. He's an ambassador for the game of basketball. He said that he doesn't talk about players. He doesn't talk about the game. He realized that he messed up. You know, I mean, you can hear that in his voice, man. He kind of hurts for that. And I'm with you. I mean, I know the young fellas on our show here don't think so, but I'm with you. Like, it's been over 30 years. Let's move on. There's so many things going on in sports, and there's so many things going on in our society. And, you know, I understand that he did what he did, and he did it on his team, but like, let's build a bridge and get over it.
He deserves to see this before he dies.
I agree. I totally agree.
Poll is on the George Plaster Show Twitter site.
Yeah, the gap has been narrowed, George. 52% say no, 47% say yes, he deserves to be in the Hall.
Feel free to jump in on it.
Also, George, one quick note before the break. A new project in Forsyth County, Georgia, bigger than the Battery, with a new 18,000-seat arena, could be home to the newest NHL team in Georgia. Just that's breaking right now. So the Atlanta Thrashers might be making a comeback.
I don't believe they'll ever go back to Atlanta. They've been there twice. Hadn't worked either time.
Well, I say Atlanta, I guess, in this, Forsyth County. I mean,
right.
But yeah, that's exclusive.
Interesting. Okay, we'll go to the break and we will talk about Nashville's hockey team, the Predators, an end of the season press conference earlier today. You will hear from General Manager David Poile, who retires June the 30th. Stay with us.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
Hockey in Music City just hits different. It's one big honky-tonk party. It's the sea of gold in the crowd, the goals, the saves, the celebrations. It's an experience like no other. Experience Predators hockey all season long. Visit NashvillePredators.com/season tickets and join the Loyal Legion today. That's NashvillePredators.com/tickets, and we'll see you at Bridgestone Arena.
For over 35 years, Wilson Bank & Trust has been committed to providing customized banking solutions to help individuals, families, and businesses in Tennessee achieve their goals. As your full-service community bank, we are proud to offer loans with competitive rates, local decision-making, and fast, friendly service from our experienced lenders. No matter where you are on your financial journey, Wilson Bank & Trust is ready to help you take the next step. Visit your nearest Wilson Bank & Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Family owned and operated for more than 2 decades, Alaco Fine Wood Floors is Nashville and Middle Tennessee's choice for premium quality hardwood floors. Since 1995, Jimmy Alaco and his army of employees have embodied the approach of taking pride in one's craft and providing superior customer service, growing from a one-man shop to a team of 23 professionals who share the founder's passion for quality craftsmanship and customer satisfaction. If you are interested in contacting them, you can find their headquarters at 2505 Winford Avenue in Berry Hill, or give them a call at 615-356-0303. Again, that's 615-356-0303, or log on to AlacoFineWoodFloors.com. Alaco Fine Wood Floors, serving Middle Tennessee's hardwood flooring needs since 1995.
At Baird, we have a different slant on global financial advice. That global capabilities mean nothing without personal attention. We have investor relationships in 35 countries and market expertise in over 40 industry verticals, all to help make the most important investment connections of all, yours. Global financial advice with a client-first approach. It's the shape of things to come. Discover the Baird difference at BairdDifference.com.
Earlier today, the Predators held essentially an end-of-the-season press conference that was Barry Trotz, who will be here on Thursday for the first of our Wilson Bank & Trust Summer Speaker Series deals. The outgoing general manager, David Poile, and the head coach, John Hines. What we're going to let you hear is somewhere in the 9-10 minute range of David Poile sort of assessing where he thinks the team is right now. So kick back and enjoy.
Our goaltending was very solid with Juice and Kevin, but we're not producing 5-5. Our power play, which was so good a year ago, was really struggling. Last year, multiple players had career years, and most players were having trouble this year replicating that. Some of our young players that played so well were really having a tough time producing. So for me, it felt like every time we took a little bit of a step forward during the season, then we'd fall back. I never really felt that these first 50 games that we were in the playoff race, we seemed to always be playing from behind or either on the scoreboard or in the standings. When we announced Barry as our incoming GM near the end of February, together we went to work on restructuring our team. It was time to prepare a path forward. It was a time to create more opportunities for younger players. It was an opportunity which we did to add more draft picks, prospects, and it was also a time that we were able to create some cap space and flexibility going forward for our team. As we began to make these moves, we had a ton of injuries. Alex Carrier, Ryan Johansson, UC Parson, Philip Forsberg, Roman Johansson, Matt Duchesne, et cetera, et cetera. We brought up players. We brought up more players than we thought we'd ever bring up. Luke Evangelista, Phil Tomasino, Tommy Novak, Igor Afanasev, Spencer Stastny, and we signed Jake Livingstone. All these guys came up. They played hard. They brought energy. They brought excitement to every game, and they produced. Through it all, we had elite goaltending. Saros and Kevin, especially Saros, were just outstanding for us. Example, 64 saves versus Carolina. Remarkably, we got back into the playoff race. And we played meaningful games until the last 2 days of the season. I think I'm very proud of that. Very proud of the team, everybody for that. I thought that was just fantastic. Well, the first 50 games, as I referenced before, were really a grind. I think the last 15 or 20 games was really fun. And that's what we wanted to have here. It's a job, I get that, but we wanted to be excited. We want to make our fans excited. And it was fun the last 15 or 20 games. Our energy was renewed in our locker room, on the ice, in the stands. And our team, repeat again, was fun to watch. Fans knew that players were giving maximum effort, and they were buying into what the coaches were asking them to do. I just can't say again how proud I was of the determination, the commitment, and big kudos to our coaches, to our staff, and our players for what we saw over the last 15 or 20 games. So while we missed the playoffs, we have a renewed sense of optimism and hope for the future. So here's where we are today. Here's what I know today. We have elite goaltending in Juice and Kevin. The general managers vote for the Vezina trophy every year. I don't know how many first place votes Juice is going to get, but I can guarantee you he got one. We know that our top players, Roman, Ryan Johansson, Philip, Matt Duchesne, are going to return, and they're going to be healthy next year. And when they return next year, they're going to be productive leaders, both on and off the ice. I think it's important to note that down the stretch, speaking of leadership and our top players, Ryan McDonough, Colton Sissons, Tyson Barrie really rose to the occasion in terms of taking over the leadership of our team, and we certainly add them to our leadership pool next year. We know that the development from our younger players was fantastic. Cody Glass, Tommy Novak, Parson, Tomasino, Evangelista, young defensemen like Stastny and Livingstone. What we saw at the end of the year, and I have to get this into my last talk, because I say this all the time, was an example of our belief for most of our players that the road to Nashville is through Milwaukee. And sometimes it requires a little bit of patience, but as you saw, the difference between Cody Glass last year and this year is very significant. Tommy Novak, that played some games here a year ago, he needed to go back to Milwaukee to just grow a little bit more. And we all saw the difference in the second half of the season in these types of players. Today, the process begins towards next season, where we're going to begin our exit meetings today, and Barry will be involved in those. We're going to go through the same process with our coaches and our staff, and Barry's going to be involved in those meetings as well. We'll meet with ownership to review our organizational structure and our plans going forward, and Barry will be involved in that. And we'll soon be beginning our preparations for the entry draft, which will be here in Nashville, and Barry will be heavily involved in that. Our team in Milwaukee, our farm club, is entering the AHL playoffs, and so you might have seen about 15 minutes ago, we've returned several players to Milwaukee. So last week we returned Igor Vanasev, Kevin Gravel, and today we assigned Sherwood, Jankowski, McCarron, Tomasino, Evangelista, along with defenseman Spencer Stastny, who will rejoin Milwaukee. So all these players got a great chance the last 15 or 20 games to participate in the playoff race here in Nashville, playing against the best players in the world, and now they're going to go through the same thing in Milwaukee. And we've challenged all of these guys to have a deep run in Milwaukee and hopefully get a Calder Cup. And obviously, this is going to really help their experience and give them a foot in the door, if you will, in terms of their opportunities to make our team on a full-time basis next year. I'm very proud. As I step away, I believe the franchise is positioned for future success. We have the right people in place with Barry at the helm and those that are around him. With the moves that we recently made at the trading deadline, we have 13 draft picks this year, which is most since 2003. For those of you that might have been around since 2003, that draft kind of worked out real good for the Predators. It sort of was a foundation of our defense with Ryan Suter, Kevin Klein, and who was the other one, Barry?
The big Weber guy.
Shea Weber. Let's hope for the 23 draft to give similar results. The recent trades, as I said before, brought us draft picks and prospects, but also created cap space and flexibility for next season and maybe for the next few seasons, which I think is very important. So as Barry and his team, take over, Barry's going to have the opportunity to evaluate and will evaluate our current roster, our prospect pool, and determine when the right time is to add players or payroll. But all the avenues are open to him, which I think is a luxury in today's game. In addition to the youngsters that I've also mentioned, we did get a glimpse of the future also with Yaroslav Askarov, who played a game in Montreal, and Joachim Kimmel, our first round pick last year, is now in Milwaukee and contributing, and will get to play in the playoffs down there. So in closing here, our team has experience and has leadership. Roman, Sissons, McDonough, Duchesne, Forsberg, Johansson. We have elite goaltending. And now more than ever, we have youngsters that are deserving of an opportunity to play in our hockey club. And we have the roster space for them to earn that. So as I wrap up and pass the keys to Barry, we really have keys and we have a pass. I have a pass for Barry. There is a path forward with a bright future. A path forward with a bright future for the Nashville Predators. It is going to be a process. It's going to take some time.
I don't disagree with virtually anything he put out there. I know that season ticket holders are an important thing, Kelly, in hockey, because the TV packages are not like they are in the NFL. And I think the level of satisfaction at the end of the season was so much better than the amount of complaining and yapping that I heard in January and February. There's been a change, no doubt about it.
Yeah, the fans are what makes the game, George. You know that. And, I do remember, though, being in my NFL player meetings, when they were talking about, we've got such a big TV contract. I think at that time it was $4 billion. And they was like, we don't even have to have people, go to the games. I mean, if we get that TV deal, but you're right. I mean, it's not like that in the NHL. I mean, you've got to get fans in the seats. And hey, he had a lot of informative things there, but he sounds like he's pretty upbeat about it. And obviously bringing Barry Trotz in, who's been an integral part of this thing. He was a head coach years ago, and I can remember when he was there, and he was talking about, I guess their farm leagues in Milwaukee. Is that what he's talking?
Their farm team is in Milwaukee, and
and
that's
he was
a big
talking
deal.
about how big that was for them, because they've been able to send guys up there, and that's helped them a bunch. So, if they can get some of the guys that were injured last year coming back, and some of the new guys to blend together, and then they can do some things in the draft. I mean, looks like the Predators and Ford Ice Center, where you're sitting right now, has got a lot of good days ahead.
Speaking of which, for the next 2 or 3 days, you'll see this a lot. Barry will be with us Thursday for the first of our Wilson Bank and Trust Summer Sports Speaker Series luncheons. It's a free event. Lunch is on you if you want it. If you don't want it, no big deal. But either way, I need you to email me if you would like to come to the event. And you can email me at plastergeorge@gmail.com. Again, plastergeorge@gmail.com. After the break, we'll have stat of the day, and then, back by popular demand, Kelly Holcomb's World of Football. And we will ask the question, why isn't Stetson Bennett getting any attention? Stay tuned.
Hey, thank you for meeting with me today. The insurance company has made an offer.
Already? How?
They've offered you the entire policy.
Thank you, Blair.
You're so welcome.
Forget the fact that Sir Speedy Music City is owned by my BGA classmate James Warren. Their work stands on its own merit. James and his staff do incredible work, as evidenced by the huge banners at the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. If you're looking for quality to help your marketing and business communications, and you want it at a reasonable price, these are your folks. Call them at 615-832-9511 or go to print at sirspeedymusiccity.com. And be sure to tell them Plaz sent you.
This is my buddy and former Nashville Sounds PA announcer Eric Berner. I always laughed in the old days at Greer Stadium when I would walk in, Eric would immediately play my favorite song, Van Halen's Jump. But then I learned he actually has a real job with Rockcastle Wealth Advisors.
Yeah, George, that's what I do. I help people in the pursuit of making their money live as long as they do. Everybody's situation is different, so I use a customized and individualized, personalized approach to the person I'm working with. Old 401ks, retirement planning, insurance planning, inheritance planning. Those are things that people like to get some more information about.
One of the things I find is people don't even know where to start, and that's where you come in.
Yeah, so I can usually help people with an initial phone call or meeting that is a no charge and no obligation.
And I'll bet you have a phone number and a website.
I do, George. They can call me at 615-235-1058 or rockcastlewealth.com or Eric at rockcastlewealth.com.
Hello, this is Celeste Middleton, a State Farm agent in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. I want to help my neighbors and local businesses be proactive and assess their risk before something unexpected happens. We want you to have a thorough understanding of your coverages to have the best protection when you need it. We can create a personal price plan for you. Our team has over 70 years of experience helping people in Middle Tennessee. We have an awesome team with integrity and provide honest and prompt communication. And we love what we do and genuinely care about everyone we work with at our office. Give us a call at 615-895-2700. Send us a message at celestemiddleton.com or walk in at our office at 803 North Thompson Lane in Murfreesboro. We would love to earn your business.
Welcome to John English Antique Sports and Cards, located at 204 East Depot Street in beautiful downtown Shelbyville, Tennessee. Their phone number is area code 931-492-4304. John, obviously, I've been blown away by what I've seen at your place. I've now been there 3 times. But for the person who's never been, what should they expect?
Well, we have a 3,000 square foot store, George. Half of it is vintage cards, in all sports. And then half of the store is, a lot of people call it the museum, where there's a lot of early equipment and just the history of sports in general: baseball, football, basketball, golf, tennis, and other items.
When somebody comes in there that you know is a big sports fan, what is their normal reaction?
Well, I think that they're pleasantly surprised. And of course, being in Shelbyville, Tennessee, which is a small town that you would never expect a shop like we have to be in. So they're kind of, I don't want to say blown away, but as I said, pleasantly surprised.
Welcome back in. 2 minutes past the 3 o'clock hour. It's time for Stat of the Day, brought to you by John English Antique Sports and Cards. You can find them in Shelbyville at 204 East Depot Street, Tuesday through Friday, noon to 5. Also Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 5. Give them a call at 931-492-4304. All right, here we go. Let's see what David's got cooked up today. On Saturday, Mike Trout became the 5th player in MLB history to record 300-plus home runs, 300-plus doubles, and 200-plus stolen bases before turning 32 years old. Can you name the 4 other players to accomplish this feat?
Let me make sure I got this right. 300 homers.
300 doubles.
300 doubles.
200 stolen bases.
Okay, before turning 32.
Correct.
Kelly, let me ask you before they start gonging us, because they love doing that. Oh, do they ever? Any names that are popping into your head, and then I'll give you some on my end.
Ricky Henderson?
Would Ricky Henderson have had 300 homers?
Probably not, but I don't know.
Okay. Here's some I'm thinking of. You ready?
Yeah.
Hank Aaron probably is on that list.
Yeah.
I kind of think Frank Robinson may be on that list. I kind of think Roberto Clemente.
Ooh, Roberto Clemente. Yeah.
Yeah, might be on that list.
I hate to break it to you, George. None of those guys are on the list.
None of them.
Well, fine. I don't like the question.
You can't always take
Wow. 0 for 3.
I have no clue. I mean, I can't even think of names now.
Okay, let's just, you know what? Let's put the 4 up there.
We got a Giant. We got a Yankee. Got another Giant and another Yankee.
Willie Mays, Barry Bonds with the Giants.
That is 2 for 2.
Okay.
2 Yankees.
2 Yankees. 2 Yankees. Man,
Is it
there's
old day Yankees? Old day Yankees?
Back in the day, Yankee had a nickname for the playoffs.
Mickey Matt?
Yes,
I mean,
Dave Winfield.
No.
Well, he was Mr. May.
What about Mr. October?
Well, I
Reggie
thought
Jackson.
about Reggie. Okay, go ahead and put him up there.
As David basically gives you the answer.
Yeah,
I was
mean,
going to say
Willie
A-Rod.
Mays,
Gosh.
Reggie Jackson, Barry Bonds, and A-Rod.
I was going to say A-Rod.
Whatever.
Not good.
2
Sorry.
Giants, 2 Yankees.
Yeah. Okay, before we get to Kelly Holcomb's World of Football, which I know all of you have tuned in for.
You act like I'm the one that created this as well. You know what I'm saying? You're throwing it all.
Yeah, George is acting like he had no part in this.
Yeah, I know. And it was all his. It was his brain.
It's a really good segment.
Well, quit messing with it then. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not messing with it. What did I say? I said it's something you all have breathlessly awaited.
Oh, and you really meant that.
Oh, I did. Okay, what's the news from the Titans?
Ben Neiman, linebacker, he was with Kansas City. He is signed with the Titans over his NFL career. He's totaled 237 tackles, 8 tackles for loss, 2 sacks, and 1 forced fumble So it looks like a pretty good addition for the Titans.
Does it say 1-year deal?
It just said they agree to terms on a contract.
Okay.
I didn't see anything
right
in particular.
Okay, so now we move on to Kelly's World.
Yes, we do.
Oh, let's look at the great intro that we have provided for this very important segment. It's a moment you have breathlessly awaited. It's time for Kelly Holcomb's World of Football. As shocking as this, it's a moment you have breathlessly awaited. It's time for Kelly Holcomb's World of Football. As shocking as this may sound, Kelly Holcomb's World of Football has sponsors. It's brought to you in part by Baird Financial with Yaz Hassan and Justin Oldham, and by State Farm Insurance, located in Murfreesboro, through agent Celeste Middleton. Well, I'm glad we got that out there. Yeah.
Yes.
Kelly, did you see that and hear that?
I did. Yeah. What's going on?
I asked, did you see the promo, or could you not hear it?
Yeah, I did. And then it started over. I mean, what happened?
Well, on our end, we couldn't hear it, but I guess everyone else could.
Yeah, I heard it.
Okay, gotcha.
Okay, so let's start with Stetson Bennett, the 4th or the 5th or whatever the hell he is. Kelly, I guess that there's a part of me that's a little bit confused on him, because no doubt in his last couple of years in college, he did some really good things to help Georgia get 2 national titles. Now, we all know Georgia had a lot of talent around him, but the truth of it was he came up big every time they needed him to come up big. Even before his little visit to Dallas, where he behaved like a fool, you really weren't hearing much about him. So I want to get your opinion to start with. Can Stetson Bennett be an effective NFL quarterback?
I would like to think so. I mean, I'm a big Stetson Bennett. We're going to talk about some other guys. Seems like this is a quarterback segment all the time. I'm trying to work around that. But, I mean, for what he did at Georgia, and that's everybody's excuse. You know, they say, well, Georgia's so loaded that, you know, you could have stuck anybody back there. And I just don't buy that.
I don't believe that either.
Yeah, I don't buy that. I mean, I think that, you know, when he came up big, you know, was in the Ohio State game. I mean, they were down, and Ohio State played really well, and they had a really good quarterback. Is, you know, he's going to get drafted in the top 2 in C.J. Stroud. But, you know, you've got to have a guy that comes in there and is not phased, and that's what Stetson Bennett is. Now, you know, I'm for the guy because I came up kind of that way. Nobody gave me a chance, and I had to fight through all that. Well, you know, it's been well chronicled about how he had to go to JUCO. He sat on the bench. They kept bringing guys in. I mean, Kirby Smart even talked about how they told him that he wasn't going to be the guy, and he just kept hanging in there and kept hanging in there. And they brought JT Daniels in. JT Daniels gets hurt. Then he goes and he takes him to a national championship. And then the next year takes him to another one. So I can remember going down to a Vanderbilt game when they played Georgia, and it was a waxing, obviously, by Georgia. It was the first year. But JT Daniels started the game, and then Stetson Bennett came in the game, and he made some really, really good throws, some tight throws. A corner throw, I remember he threw it over a guy, and I was like, that kid right there can play. And I don't know what it is, but me and you talked about it this morning. It's his size, obviously, but, you know, he's taller than Bryce Young is. I mean, he's an inch taller than Bryce Young is. He can make plays with his feet. Obviously, he's a smart kid. He understands the game, and he can make things happen. He doesn't make bad decisions. But when you go down and you do something like he did in Dallas, I have no problem with, you know, you want to have a good time. I understand that. But my feeling is you're giving the higher-ups in the NFL an excuse because they were already looking for an excuse not to go after you anyway. So now you've given them an excuse when an owner comes up and says, hey, what about this Stetson Bennett maybe late in the rounds? Like, well, all they got to say is, well, it's non-football related. We don't like his off-the-field issues. And that bothers me to, you know, he put himself in that situation. He acted like he did. You shouldn't do that because they're already looking to do something with you, and they're already looking for an excuse not to take you in the draft. And that's exactly what he did. He just helped the NFL executives do that. I think the guy can play. I really do. And I think he's done it at the highest level. But, I mean, that remains to be seen.
If he's available, let's just say in the 5th or 6th round, should the Titans consider drafting him?
I like him. I really do. I think he can help. And I think he's one of those guys that has always been scrutinized because of his size, and he's got a huge chip on his shoulder. He's going to come in, he's going to play, and he's going to play well, I think. Now, time will tell. I've told you this, the ultimate thing is when you get on the football field, you get on the gridiron, or you get on a basketball court, you have to be able to play and you have to be able to produce. He's just looking, I'm sure, just to get into a camp. But I do think that he upset some people, obviously, because he didn't go to the combine and he wanted to wait till his pro day in Georgia. And then I don't think he performed like he wanted to perform when he was there. So I think that probably put a bad taste in people's mouths as well. I don't know, but I think that, they're talking about him being not drafted now. So I don't know that either. But I know that he's been behind the 8 ball his whole life. He's used to that. He's used to being in that situation, and all he wants is a chance. And if you give him a chance, it'll be interesting to see what he does.
Okay. We'll get off of Stetson Bennett and go to the quarterback that he beat in the title game for TCU, Max Duggan. I guess I'm perplexed, Kelly, because pro football has made a shift to say, okay, the Lamar Jacksons of the world have a role. Read option has a role.
Yeah.
This kid is a tough kid. What is the knock on him? Why are we not hearing him at all?
Well, it's kind of the same thing. I mean, he's actually played. I mean, you look at his stats, George. I mean, he's right under 10,000 yards for his college career. Last year, he came in and they tried to put somebody in front of him. And then, the unfortunate thing when the kid got hurt, then, Max Duggan comes in and leads him to the national title game. And everybody's talking about, well, he didn't do it against the best team. And I find that as BS too, because Georgia was different. The last 2 years, Georgia's been different than anybody in the college football. I mean, you could probably argue Alabama's there and Ohio State's there, but I would like to have seen Max Duggan play against Georgia with the Georgia players. Let's see let's see how that compares. I think the kid is gritty. With the college game day stuff, they went to his hometown. They talked to his mom and dad. They talked to his coach. I mean, you can tell that the guy is a gritty guy and he wins games. He makes good decisions. He can turn a bad play into a good play. He does the read option stuff as well. I don't know. I remember when they were at Kansas and Desmond Howard was talking about how big he is, but then you actually look at him. I mean, he's only 6'1". I think they measured him at 6'1", 205 right now. So that's not the biggest guy for the NFL. Heck, when I came, that's when I came out, that's about what I was. I was 6'3", but I weighed about 205. So, and then I got married, and then I got on my wife's cooking, and then I gained a bunch of weight, So I don't really know what's going to happen with Max Duggan, but he's one of those guys like Stetson Bennett. I think all he needs is a chance. And there's always guys that fall through the crack. There's always those guys. I was one of those guys that, had a 13-year NFL career. So nobody really knows, but I think the guy's got a tenacious personality. He's going to go in there and work. And I don't understand why people are not talking about him either, but he's not even brought up. The first 5 quarterbacks now, Hendon Hooker's in the talk too, but they don't even bring these guys up, which is quite astonishing to me.
Okay, if you had a choice, let's say in the 5th or 6th round, you're Rand Carthon and both of them are available, which one would you pick over the other?
Oh, that's a good question, Jordan. I'm probably going to take Max Duggan just because he is a little bit bigger. I think there's some weight to be gained by that. I don't know how much you could put on Stetson Bennett. I really don't, but both of those guys have done it. But if it's me, I'm probably going to take Max Duggan.
Okay, let's go to New England, where Mac Jones, the former Alabama quarterback, had a really good rookie year. But in his second season, I thought Bill Belichick did him a real disservice with Matt Patricia essentially being his offensive coordinator. I don't think Matt Patricia knows the first thing about developing quarterbacks. This is a guy that got a pencil in his ear. Not that that has anything to do with anything. But, Kelly, obviously Mac Jones didn't have as good a sophomore year. But to me, a lot of that's on Belichick.
I think you're absolutely 100% correct. I mean, you got Josh McDaniels, who goes to be the Vegas coach. And then you bring in Matt Patricia, who had been his defensive coordinator. He'd gone to Detroit to be the head coach, and then you bring him. Now you had Joe Judge as well, who's an offensive-minded guy, and you kind of split right there with those guys. But you could tell the frustration with Mac Jones last year because he and Matt Patricia, they got into it quite a bit, and it goes back to a confidence deal with a coach. I mean, when you're in certain situations, well, you want to have the confidence of the coach that you can call a pass play. And I can produce on that pass play and get a first down. Well, I can't even count the times that I was watching the games, and it just didn't feel like that they had confidence in Mac Jones, and they were trying to keep the game close. And I'm sure that's a Belichick deal too, because he's always been known for his defenses, other than Tom Brady. But he was trying to keep games close, and they weren't allowing Mac Jones anything to work with. And I think he got really frustrated with that. It boiled over on the sideline.
Oh, you could see it. There were some big time.
Absolutely.
He was sick of Patricia's pencil in his ear.
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, that gets frustrating when and I think Mac Jones is a fiery guy. I mean, you watch him, and I guarantee you he's the first guy there. He's watching film, and you listen to, I was reading some things this morning about all his teammates, I think, really love him, really like him, really think that he can be something in this league. But, they got to figure it out on offense. And I know that was Matt Patricia's first year of being the coordinator, but they've got to come together at some point and do something with that. And I agree with you. I think Bill Belichick had a lot to do with that. And I think he might have looked at it as say, hey, obviously he trusts Matt Patricia, but Matt Patricia's been on the defensive side of the ball. It's totally different.
So in comes Bill O'Brien as the offensive coordinator. I really think Mac Jones will have a good third year, have a lot more confidence in what it is he's dealing with.
Well, just listening to some things from, Bill O'Brien was obviously in the league for a while, and he understands the game. He's been in that system before. He's been with Bill Belichick before. But they got to figure something out. He's obviously an offensive-minded guy, so it'll be interesting to see how Mac Jones does this year. But I've always liked Mac Jones. I mean, he came in from Jacksonville. He was recruited by Alabama. He went in at 170 or 175 pounds. He's had a tough road too, because he had to sit for 4 years as well to watch, Jalen Hurts and Tua. And then he got his shot a little bit, his junior year when Tua got hurt. He came in the Auburn game and had some freak things happen to him, and then he goes and wins a national championship for Alabama. So, I like Mac Jones, and I'm glad that they got him. They need some pieces around him.
Oh,
he's got to get a receiver, and then you were talking about. I read this morning where DeAndre Hopkins was. They're talking about trading him. Well, that would be a good fit, but I don't think he really wants to go there. He wants to go to either Buffalo or Kansas City, but they need to get somebody like the Ravens got OBJ. They need to get somebody in there like that, to kind of help him out on the offensive side of the ball.
Mac Jones might have paved the way for a guy like Stetson Bennett or Max Duggan, because he won at a high level.
You would think so.
He still had a lot of doubters.
Yeah. By the way, this just in: Aaron Rodgers is still a Packer.
Oh, I know. And I'm wondering about that as well. I
Good
don't know.
Lord.
I mean, they can't come to terms with what's going on. And it might be a deal where, this thing, I've heard it's going ice cold, but it might be a deal when the trade comes around and then it gets really hot. It wouldn't surprise me if something happened during the draft with all that. You know how crazy that stuff is. So, I said it last week, but that's what makes the draft so interesting to me.
Here is a sobering thought. David, put the picture up there. Little small stuff, okay? Arguably one of the all-time boneheads to ever own an NFL team. A rich bonehead. And by the way, here's some differences. If you are weird and you have money, you're eccentric. If you're weird and you don't have money, you're weird. I just thought I'd share that.
That's pretty good.
That's pretty accurate.
That
is
pretty
accurate.
Good. Okay, so little small stuff here. Butchered one of the great franchises in NFL history, the Redskins. Now they are the Commanders. People have wanted him out up there for years. He's been such a disaster. And yet when he puts that team on the market, Kelly, he gets over if the deal goes through. And I'm not convinced it will. But if it does, this guy and his wife are getting $6 billion. Now, $6 billion is 999 million times 6 and a little chump change. Just imagine what this fool would have gotten if he knew how to run that franchise. $6 million for a completely dysfunctional deal. Kelly, what would he have gotten if he'd been a great owner?
I don't know, but he paid $800 million for the Redskins back
return.
in the day.
Yeah,
well, it's a pretty good return. I mean, it's amazing. I was looking at this. I was looking at all the NFL is amazing with how many teams are are worth billions. Every team in the NFL is worth $1 billion. It's amazing to see that. But I just remember when he bought the Redskins, and I think he came in there with a situation where he thought he was going to win a Super Bowl and he could do this and he could pay for this. And he brought in Bruce Smith and he brought in Deion Sanders and he brought in some other guys thinking that they could, cohesively make a good unit, and it was awful.
And Joe Gibbs.
Oh, it was absolutely. It was absolutely awful. And that's been such a storied program, with Joe Gibbs. I mean, they won 3 Super Bowls with him and they haven't sniffed it. They've been such turmoil. They had the name thing going on. They've had this sexual harassment deal going on. They've had, talking about his work environment was awful. Then all this stuff, going on with the sale. Ron Rivera, I watched the deal with him. He's glad this is over with, and now maybe we can get to the draft. Well, I'm with you. I'm not sure it's totally gone through yet.
Because it's never totally through.
No, it hasn't been finalized, and he's got a lot of stipulations for the owners about this thing going through, and they're kind of crazy stipulations. So it'll be interesting to see. But some franchise that's got so much tradition and so much legacy. And now it's just, it's not even the Redskins anymore. It's the Commanders. I understand that, but they've got to get them a franchise quarterback. I know that Carson Wentz is there, but he hadn't played good since he was in Philly his first couple of years, and then
hold on. They have released Wentz.
Oh, did they really? Okay.
Oh yeah, they've released Wentz. Sam Howell.
Oh, that's right, Sam Howell. I'm sorry, you're absolutely right.
Would be the starter if the season began today.
That's absolutely right. I totally forgot about that. Sam Howell, and then they brought in Jacoby Brissett, which is he's kind of a filler guy, and they're talking about maybe they'll get him too. So they've just not had a guy at that position. Taylor Heineke came in last year and he played good. I'm a Taylor Heineke guy, but he's just not the guy to take them anywhere. And I don't know. It would make sense to me that they would get somebody that's in the draft. They may move up. I don't know. But, if you're going to win the National Football League, George, you've got to have a really good quarterback. And right now they just, they're kind of trying to see things fit like a puzzle. And it hadn't worked for a decade.
I give Kelly an A. This was a very good segment. Let's see if that and a dime won't get you a cup of coffee. That
absolutely.
Thing.
With the 40
what are you talking about? That means a lot.
Oh, he doesn't mean squat.
That's my appreciation for Kelly right there.
Really?
Yeah.
What did Billy say?
Not everybody gets that as special applause.
Oh, this is a big suck up.
I like it.
Because let me tell you what he's trying to avoid, Kelly, is anytime anything goes wrong and you start into pilot error, that's what he's trying to avoid. He's trying to suck up to you.
I'm trying to. What did you call David? I will never get over. What did he call?
We're kindred spirits.
I'm trying to get on the kindred spirit, as Kelly says.
Kelly, what are the odds of that?
Not much. Me and David,
we're
we're there, but me and Billy, not so much.
No. We'll go to the break. Kelly, here comes another segment that people breathlessly await. Plaster bet of the day.
Oh.
Yes. Yeah. A standard, a commitment to excellence.
We'll see.
Yeah, we sure as hell will see. It doesn't always work out that way. Let me talk to you about the folks at 24/7 Sports. Right now, the NBA playoffs are underway.
Action 247.
What did I just call it?
You said 24/7 Sports.
Yeah, shame on me.
That's
Get the name right.
That's a totally different brand.
Yeah, we'll put it up there, and maybe I'll do better. Are you betting on the NBA playoffs, or for that matter, the NHL playoffs? Today at Action 24/7. Why did you move away from that?
We thought you had it memorized by now.
No, clearly I don't. Use the promo code George and get a 300% deposit match up to $20 on your first deposit. Action 24/7 is Tennessee's only locally owned and operated sports book. Now, here is where I just say it the way it is. These are Tennesseans, local people looking for local business who are going to treat you like neighbors. And that's part of the reason you ought to sign up with them. Download the app or visit action247.com to start all that winning. And please bet responsibly.
How am I going to get to work? My car's totaled.
Skylar, our team is making a call right now. We'll get you a rental car. Don't worry.
That's a relief.
Call us 24/7. We're here. We're going to help.
Year number 2 of the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night was awesome. And the reason is really simple. I chose Strike and Spare, and they were amazing. They have great food, great bowling, and a staff that is truly ready to go the extra mile to help you. They have 5 family fun centers in the area to choose from. And for more info, go to strikeandspare.com or call them at 615-824-5685. Now that the weather has gotten considerably warmer, there's not a better place to spend a morning or an afternoon than Riverside Golf Links. So you've probably noticed the weather has gotten a lot warmer, and that means a couple of things in Nashville. It means baseball, and it really means golf. And for me, it's a visit to Riverside Golf Links. The course has improved dramatically. There are now 27 holes, including a 9-hole executive course. If you want tee times or more information, dial them up at 615-847-5074.
You can't see the sights without the sounds. From the crack of the bat to the roar of the crowd and everything in between, discover what Hit City has to offer. Spend your nights cheering on the Nashville Sounds at First Horizon Park with giveaways, fireworks shows, theme weekends, and more. Single game tickets are on sale now. Visit NashvilleSounds.com to claim your seat today.
As the trusted premier custom home builder in Middle Tennessee, Donnelly Timmons has over 20 years of experience in the industry. Whether you're looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and every remodel is unique, luxurious, and completed on time within budget. Founders Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly have over 25 years of construction experience in the Nashville area. Together, they have completed projects in Forest Hills, Oak Hill, Green Hills, Franklin, and Brentwood. Dustin and Joey believe that communication is the most important aspect of all construction projects. Therefore, they personally manage each project themselves and are involved in job site activities on a daily basis. Their commitment to quality and integrity has earned them an outstanding reputation among their clients. Contact them to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects. Give them a call at 615-456-7983 or log on to donleytimmons.com.
Hockey in Music City just hits different. It's one big honky-tonk party. It's the sea of gold in the crowd, the goals, the saves, the celebrations. It's an experience like no other. Experience Predators hockey all season long. Visit NashvillePredators.com/season tickets and join the Loyal Legion today. That's NashvillePredators.com/tickets, and we'll see you at Bridgestone Arena.
For over 35 years, Wilson Bank & Trust has been committed to providing customized banking solutions to help individuals, families, and businesses in Tennessee achieve their goals. As your full-service community bank, we are proud to offer loans with competitive rates, local decision-making, and fast, friendly service from our experienced lenders. No matter where you are on your financial journey, Wilson Bank & Trust is ready to help you take the next step. Visit your nearest Wilson Bank & Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Family owned and operated for more than 2 decades, Alaco Fine Wood Floors is Nashville and Middle Tennessee's choice for premium quality hardwood floors. Since 1995, Jimmy Alaco and his army of employees have embodied the approach of taking pride in one's craft and providing superior customer service, growing from a one-man shop to a team of 23 professionals who share the founder's passion for quality craftsmanship and customer satisfaction. If you are interested in contacting them, you can find their headquarters at 2505 Winford Avenue in Berry Hill, or give them a call at 615-356-0303. Again, that's 615-356-0303, or log on to alacofinewoodfloors.com. Alaco Fine Wood Floors, serving Middle Tennessee's hardwood flooring needs since 1995.
At Baird, we have a different slant on global financial advice. That global capabilities mean nothing without personal attention. We have investor relationships in 35 countries and market expertise in over 40 industry verticals, all to help make the most important investment connections of all, yours. Global financial advice with a client-first approach. It's the shape of things to come. Discover the Baird difference at BairdDifference.com.
Welcome back in. It's time for Plaster's Bet of the Day. We got to do some reviewing of how he did over the weekend. It's brought to you by Bart Durham Injury Law. They are lawyers that you can trust. Give them a call at 615-242-9000 or log on to bartdurham.com. All right, Kelly, let's take a look at what we got.
Oh, he's rolling.
Here we go. 157 and 155. Minnesota won, Sacramento won, and Memphis lost.
Grizzlies.
The Grizz disappointed.
In the last few minutes, they kind of went south a little bit. So I'm going to try to do this while the playoffs are on. I'm going to try each night to give you at least one NBA game and at least one NHL game. Kelly, I know you're going to want to see all this.
Oh yeah. Well, I do pay attention to your picks now. I really do. I didn't realize where you were because I wasn't on Friday.
And
but I am paying attention to your picks. I promise you.
Okay, so I'm going with Golden State tonight as a pick'em in Sacramento. Now, if Golden State really is a title contender, and I don't know whether they are or not because they lost a ton of road games. Mm-hmm. They need to win tonight. They do not need to go down 0-2 to this Kings group that maybe initially was sort of celebrating, hey, first time we've been in the playoffs in 20 years. Well, now all of a sudden you get up 2-0 and you start saying, whoa, we can win this. Golden State does not need to give them that level of confidence. And the truth of it is, Steph Curry down the stretch was unbelievable. Yes, he didn't hit the shot at the buzzer, but until then, oh my God, he hit everything in sight late. I think there'll be a carryover tonight, and I think Golden State will get a really hard-earned win on the road in front of the best crowd you will see in the NBA.
George, do you think Steph Curry is the best shooter of all time?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, me too.
I think there's first of all,
is it even close?
I don't think it is. I mean, there's a range, Kelly, to his shots, how far out he can go that I've never seen anybody do before.
I haven't either. And he's not he's learned, obviously, just like we're talking about Stetson Bennett being a smaller guy, but he's 6'3", and he's learned how to get his shot up against anybody. It's amazing what he can do. I mean, there's so much work that goes into that. I don't even think it's close. I'm like Billy. I don't think there's anybody near him. I mean, Ray Allen was a good shooter. Larry Bird was a good shooter, but they're not Steph Curry.
Did y'all see his last shot attempt against Sacramento?
Yeah.
Did he have to act like it was a floater?
I don't know.
I was wondering. I watched the replay. I didn't think he had to leave off 1 foot there, and maybe he had a better shot. I mean, maybe
he might have made it tougher than it needed to be.
Yeah, and with how good he is, you'd think, But
I'm glad for the Sacramento people. I wanted them, whether they do anything in this playoff or not, the moment they gave their fans Saturday night, pretty cool.
Must win for Golden State.
Great NBA game.
Must win for Golden State tonight.
Close. It's definitely close to that.
I don't know if it's a must win. I mean, those guys are champions. I mean, to be the best, you got to beat the best, and they are the best. They've been the best. They were best last year, and I mean, obviously Steph Curry being there. I mean, they've been on an incredible run. So I don't know, but you're right. You don't want to go down 2-0, but I think they're one of the teams that could.
Tell you what, they better start guarding De'Aaron Fox. He is as quick as a fox.
Most underrated superstar in the NBA right now.
Yep. Probably because he's on the Kings.
Yeah. Okay, here come 2 NHL games. Carolina at home is just simply better than the Islanders. Excuse me?
I said lock.
Lock. Well, in gambling, is there such a thing as a lock?
Well, probably not.
Well, I'm going to give you one tomorrow night. I've already isolated.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. That I like even better than Carolina.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay, and here's a second one that I put out there. Dallas is a weird team in the NHL. They try to win 1-0, 2-1, or 2-0. It'll be a slug out deal with Minnesota, but Dallas at home, I think, ends up winning. If I was going to name a score, 2-1. That's the way they play.
Riveting.
It's not the best style, but where did it get them?
Got them this far. Darn right. Okay, so those are the 3 picks. Kelly, we're looking for 2 out of 3, and I think we can get 2 out of 3 tonight.
You could.
I feel good.
You could. Hey, I was just going to say, man, that it's amazing that Pete Rose, for one thing. It's amazing, but that was a really good interview. I mean, and that brought some of the guys back that I was used to, like with the Joe Morgans.
Oh,
and then,
sure.
You're talking about Sparky Anderson. I mean, that's when I was really into baseball, and that was really cool, man. He's you could just tell in his voice, and you could just tell in his being that he wants this so bad, but I don't know if he's going to get it. I really don't.
Not while he's alive. He's 82. His birthday was Friday when we did the interview, as some of you heard. And I hope a few more of you will listen to it. Where will it be, Billy?
It'll be up on our YouTube channel as a separate full interview, so people will be able to go there and search our channel, and it'll be up there. So,
okay, we'll take our final break. We'll tell you about tomorrow's show, which will be a little different than most Tuesdays. Stick around.
Hey, thank you for meeting with me today. The insurance company has made an offer.
Already? How?
They've offered you the entire policy.
Thank you, Blair.
You're so welcome.
You know, starting to save for your future doesn't have to be difficult. Let Wilson Bank and Trust help tone up your financial goals this year. Our certificates of deposits or CDs can help your money work harder with our competitive rates, earning you more than ever before. WBT checking options allow you to earn rewards you can really use, like a high interest rate or cash back on check card purchases when you meet some e-banking qualifications. Visit your closest Wilson Bank and Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC.
To say we're excited about our new digs at the Fordyce Center in Bellevue is a huge understatement. Special thanks to Sean Henry, Danny Butler, Joel Butcher, Dan Williams. Man, they have made our life beautiful. One of the things we're going to try to do is take advantage of this beautiful facility. The first thing we're going to do is create a Wilson Bank and Trust Summer Sports Speaker Series. Try saying that 3 times in a hurry. The first of those will be Thursday, April the 20th at 11:30 in the morning. It'll run until about 12:45, and the new Predators General Manager Barry Trotz will be our guest. Stay tuned for more information and for more announcements. We are thrilled to be at the Fordyce Center, and thanks to all of you for watching our show.
Hello, this is Celeste Middleton, a State Farm agent in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. I want to help my neighbors and local businesses be proactive and assess their risk before something unexpected happens. We want you to have a thorough understanding of your coverages to have the best protection when you need it. We can create a personal price plan for you. Our team has over 70 years of experience helping people in Middle Tennessee. We have an awesome team with integrity and provide honest and prompt communication, and we love what we do and genuinely care about everyone we work with at our office. Give us a call at 615-895-2700, send us a message at celestemiddleton.com, or walk in at our office at 803 North Thompson Lane in Murfreesboro. We would love to earn your business.
Okay, so the handy little legal pad will now come into action. Normally on Tuesdays, Tony Basilio from Knoxville will join us. This week, I needed to make a little bit of a shift, so he will join us on Wednesday. Terry McCormick will spend an hour and 10 minutes with us concerning the Titans and the NFL draft that is coming up in less than 2 weeks.
Is that a State of the Union, I hear?
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
I think it's State of the Union.
Kelly, you're going to love those. It's
I'm
all
just-
Titans for an hour. Deep dive with Terry.
Yeah, I just can't wait for some questions, man. Just, some of the burning questions that we all have. And I know he knows a bunch on the Titans. So that'll be
Give me
interesting.
your most burning question.
I just want to know what they're going to do. I mean, I don't think they can move up. I don't think they have the means to move up. So what are they going to do with the 11th pick? What are they going to – I got another one, an MTSU guy. What are they going to do with Kevin Byard? He's asking for maybe a trade. He wants to, I don't know. I don't know where that goes. We'll see.
Meanwhile, they want a pay cut. So we'll see.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I'll tell you this. What Kelly just brought up will be the first thing we ask Terry McCormick, because the rumors all over the country are that the Titans are going to work a trade with Arizona for the number 3 pick. I personally don't think they can do it. I think if they do, and I think Terry is going to agree with me, it'll ruin the rest of their draft. They may not have much capital if they make that move. And I am of the opinion that they need to go the other way, move down, and get a couple of extra picks. Last time I checked, this team's got some holes.
Yeah, you say, can they do it? Do they even need to do it? That's another thing too.
I don't think there's any need to do it. I think you can get. I mean, they're going. I would like to get a quarterback. Being behind Ryan Tannehill for a year or two, and you don't have to do that with the guys that are in this thing. And then I'm wanting to know too, like you got a new coach at Houston. If he likes one of the quarterbacks and not the other one, and then at the first pick, he doesn't get that quarterback, so he's got the second pick. Well, he's a defensive-minded guy. Does he say, I'm not going to worry about that. I'm going to pick a defensive guy like a Will Anderson? That kind of throws a wrench in everything.
Ooh, you think?
Yeah.
Yeah. D'Amico Ryans is the new guy in Houston. Anyway, that, and then later in the show, James Edwards from The Athletic will join us, and we will ask the question this way. Are the Detroit Pistons interested in Jerry Stackhouse? Hopefully that will not get us in Jerry's doghouse. Although, frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn. Did you like that?
We need more of that, George.
Yeah. Okay, we're out of here for today. Thanks for joining us. Sign up for the Barry Trotz luncheon. If you haven't done so, we've still got a little bit of room left in this beautiful Draft Picks restaurant and bar where we'll do all this on Thursday. See you tomorrow.